Welcome to another episode of Dark Skies. News and information coming to you live from Los Angeles, California from the Bay to LA. And I know y'all wondering where he been. Where you been, LC? Well, we've been getting ready because it seems like what you call time is running out. So we're finna really get down to the nitty gritty with the simulated universes. Yes, we got big shows coming up on the simulated universe. And why is the universe simulated? And the multiverse, we're going to get into that. We're also going to get into alien invasions and secret wars and the great cosmic battles. But first, secret invasion. What? Is it possible that we have been invaded already? Well, we're going to take a look at it and listen to what some of the scientists are saying and listen to some of the conspiracy theorists and some of the physicists and some of the, oh my God, the NASA conspiracy and all of that. Well, it's all here. So make yourselves comfortable. Light them if you got them. And, well, I don't know what else to say. Except, we'll be back in a few seconds. You know how we do. Light them if you got them. You're going to need them today. Oh, what a crazy week so far. It's just the beginning. I mean, we got all the usual suspects here. We got Mikey Nice, Jim, Jennifer Jeff. We got, of course, me, your host, LC Grace. Got back here on the ones and twos, and we got, well, you know, a lot to talk about, a lot to cover. I hope each and every one of you are, well, how can I say, ready? Because we are going to proceed into, well, the unknown to try to make it known. And, well, Spotify is with us, Castbox is with us, iHeartRadio, Spreaker.com. And what can I say? It's been a crazy season 8. I mean, we really opened the doors this season. I mean, we get banned to oblivion. But at the same time, we've been putting out strong information and content, you know, for the world to, you know, experience, and the tough questions to be asked and answered. As, well, it seems like we're nearing the end. The end of what, you may ask? Well, maybe the end of the lies. The end of deception. You know, so much deception and so much, you know, well, falsitives. So many tales, so many, you know, ideas, and how do they call it, conspiracies? You know, from where people think that they know what's going on, and it's easy, you know, to explain. But I don't find it that easy. You know, me considering myself one of the smartest humans that exist in the entire multiverse. Yes, the multiverse, it does exist. As more and more movies are starting to, you know, depict said multiverse, you know, to try to educate you, the human, to a better understanding of the cosmic nature of not just your reality, but all of our reality as we experience it simultaneously, all at the same time, folks. So we got anomalies like the Mandela effect. We got, well, the simulated universe theory, which is becoming less of a theory and more of a reality, as I've been trying to educate the world. Not only is there a multiverse, but there's, well, a singular universe that we exist right here today that is falling apart, collapsing upon itself. Lies upon lies, build upon lies. You know, will collapse upon itself because there's no real foundation when you speak of lies, no real truths. But are we alone? The existential question. I mean, throughout the great cosmos, the immense size of our universe, the galaxies, and how they spread and move outward, in the fashion of growth. Or can you say a growth fashion? But at the same time, we try to understand exactly what's going on as the universe expands upon itself, exponentially moving outward as each and one of our beautiful spiral or elliptical galaxies are moving away. Now, I try to speak in layman's terms because everybody's not a scientist to listen to Dark Skies News and Information. I have spiritual listeners. I have people who, follow, ghosts and ghouls and goblins and spirits, demons, shadow people. But I'm the one who can tell you how all that shit connect. How you can connect the spirit realm and how you can connect the multiversal realm and the universal realm and reality as we experience it on a day-to-day basis. Whether it be simulated, yes it is. But how much? Because not all the universe is simulated. I mean, you have something called a base universe, and that's what I keep telling y'all when I say the template. The template that the universe is, created from. Because they didn't just wake up and say, okay, I'm going to create, a simulated universe. First of all, you need something to work on. You need a said universe to, duplicate, replicate, or copy, however you want to say. But even in these individual universes, it could still become convoluted when it comes to each and every individual life form, whether it be automated, an NPC, non-playable character. And I just play with that, because, it's really a life form, right? Because think about it. If this universe was made by an AI, that means a lot of the people, the life forms, that exist inside of, the AI's universe is, life forms in the AI sense, and I don't see why it wouldn't be. Life created in this universe for this universe. It's quite simple if you look at it. But then you look at the lives and the individual aspects of each effect on each other, because everybody, seems to be experiencing this, but on a different level. And I understand that a multiversal level, a quantum level, is a little bit hard to comprehend, for people who are not always exposed to these types of, experiences. But, welcome. Because today, Dark Skies News and Information, we continue to dig deep when it comes to trying to understand the mass, the huge universe. The universe is giant. I can't even start to get into the scales of when we talk about size because it's ever expanding. It's growing. It's bigger than when it was when I first started this podcast. Live, of course, on iHeartRadio. But anyway, we like to get a better understanding of where we are, right? Because we are existing on a plane of reality. Existing, right? We are experiencing existence. It's the commonality. Between me and you, me, you and I. However you want to, explain it or however you want to verbalize it. It still comes out the same. Each and every one of us are here right now experiencing this. This is reality. This reality is, in danger. It seems like this version of Earth has been invaded. Think about it. A secret invasion. Not an invasion that comes down, like in the Marvel universe and a hole open up in the sky. And, they come through and just invade, just mano a mano. Just, we here to take over and that's it. Show ass, motherfucker. But no, it's different. A secret invasion is more of like, like a scroll invasion, right? But they come down and they individually, replicate and they take the place, right? They replace or copy or clone or however you want to put it, But they replace, certain motherfuckers, and then put their people in place, influential motherfuckers. They're gonna, replace themselves with a homeless person, a bum. Why would I want to be a bum, if I'm an alien and I can shapeshift or I could just, my job is here to, influence, humanity. Now, I wish I could influence humanity because I'll make us evolve and, there'll be no need or no worries of an invasion. Can have this planet. It's a whole universe out there. But, we have to fight for this little planet because this is the only thing that we have. Why? I do not know. It's nonsensical for humans to be stuck on Earth. I often tell people that in no universe, in a multiverse, should humans be stuck on Earth, but I guess that's how it is here. Fine. We're stuck on Earth, but that should only be temporarily because humans are, expanding in consciousness, right? Exponentially. Every, few decades, we get jumps, right? We even getting help, from what we claim to, existential help, right? Because we always ask the existential question, but it's never answered. Like, are we alone? Are we alone? Are there really aliens out there? And if so, how come they haven't presented themselves? How come the motherfuckers ain't helping? Huh? Maybe it's something more sinister behind it. Now, we've been looking at, a whole bunch of different theories and thoughts and ideas when it comes to, people's understanding, not just the multiverse, but aliens, UFOs, UAPs, government involvement, NASA, never a straight answer, right? And also the moon. I always point at the moon when I tell people to just wake up. How could this exist? Do you really need me to point out that there is no other moon that's like our moon in the observable universe? But yet, we still, wake up every day like, oh, that's the moon. It's so beautiful. It's full today. No, motherfucker. What is that? We still don't know what it is. Now, if we're living in today's time with the best technology, we got the James Webb telescope, and this motherfucker can see into the past, but yet can't see the moon. And I don't understand what's going on where we get to the point where we are just lost. I'm enamored, right? Because I'm trying to ask myself, all these different questions, and if I could just answer one of them, I'll just be so fucking happy. But no. So what is the moon? Where did the moon come from? What is the moon made of? Is it made of, like, alien metal? Is it made of rock? Is it made of, something artificial? Maybe it's hollow. Maybe it's something inside of there living, and that's just how they best can observe us without, interacting or interfering. Even though it seems to be a lot of interaction and interfering when it comes to, aliens and earthlings, humans. Because it's a such thing as, aliens, right? They're not going to tell us. Well, they just told us, right? They said there's something up there that we don't know. The government said it. Motherfuckers been saying it. Witnesses. Look at the MUFON records and ask yourself, all these people that's reporting stuff, of all the time that they've been reporting it, do we wake up one day and say, you know what? I think something's wrong. Well, something is wrong. Why do I have to go on a rant? Why do I have to go crazy, just to try to make y'all understand that, is it possible the moon is artificial? Or if it's not artificial, is it a part of a planet? How the fuck did it get to where it is, which is in our orbit?
But there's controversy about this because scientists can't agree on how the moon was formed in the first place. The first theory of how the moon became linked to the Earth is the capture theory. It says the moon was just floating along, drifted near the Earth, and was pulled into orbit.
Which is bullshit. What do you mean just floating along? Don't you think if the moon was just floating along, it would have been caught by maybe Jupiter? Because Jupiter catches something much quicker than Earth. It's just floating from where? This doesn't offer any more information. Matter of fact, it just raises more questions. Because what do you mean just floating by? How did it come to exist? Was it just flying by and it just latched on?
About this because scientists can't agree on how the moon was formed in the first place. The first theory of how the moon became linked to the Earth is the capture theory. It says the moon was just floating along, drifted near the Earth, and was pulled into orbit.
I don't know. Because if that was the case, wouldn't the Earth have caught, more than the moon? We've been catching debris and all kinds of shit. I don't think that's how gravity I don't think that's how space works. And just hearing that right there just make me walk away thinking like maybe your understanding of space is not what you think. Maybe you're completely confused on how space works.
Some of which are several miles high. There are also those who assert that the moon may not even be a natural satellite at all, at least not in the most conventional sense. Some commentators believe that the surface of the moon is merely an external shell for something far more sinister, such as a space station or gigantic alien spacecraft. The claim is similar to that of the Hollow Earth theory, whose supporters believe that there is a vast network of tunnels and caverns under the Earth's surface, which humanity is unaware of.
But why are they unaware of it? How many shows have I done? Oh, is it the band, the algorithm? That's why humans are unaware of some of the things that I commonly talk about on my show. If you just listen to the show or just pay any type of attention to Dark Skies News and Information, you have an idea that I cover a grand spectrum of subjects, and in the MCU and even in the actual universe, they call it the grand calculus. That's what I cover. The grand calculus of all things. The multiverse, individual universes, individual galaxies, individual solar systems, individual planets, moons, satellites, and, irregularities in reality. I can point out anomalies, try to tell you that this shit don't make no sense, man. But then you don't pay no attention. Then it just become an existential waste of my time trying to tell you that, there's something wrong with the moon because the moon has not been duplicated in, a universe that seems to duplicate things.
Then it might just be that there is something on the moon.
You think? Come on, let's look at the evidence, people. The moon exists. Okay, that and its alone is kind of strange because its size, its density, its orbit. It's strange that it's always like facing us.
The funding was not made public, so nobody knew about it. This is the first time it was on the record. What instigated the whole thing was the fact the director of the program resigned in October, 2 months before the story came out. I was fortunate enough to have a meeting with him literally the day he resigned or the day after, and he wrote a powerful letter to the Secretary of Defense, James Mattis at the time, explaining why he was leaving, which had to do with the fact that there were not enough resources provided for what he considered to be a national security issue.
Do you believe that life from somewhere else, while you ran this program, came here, visited, observed?
There is very compelling evidence that we may not be alone.
You may not have far to look. If you look at the moon and then look at its sheer just existence, will create questions in our understanding of not just the cosmos, but how the cosmos work. Not just that, it should answer some existential questions. When it comes to, are we alone? What else is out there? Well, what else is out there? What's right over our head? We can look at the moon in many different ways. Either the moon is the remnants of some type of galactic battle, a piece of a planet, which would make it very, very, very interesting, but also, make it a national security risk because something exists, right? There's, beyond our comprehension. There's something that exists that, could rip a planet up. Or let's say that it's a hollow moon and that it's some type of artificial structure that moved itself into position to orbit Earth. But then, that's a national security threat, right? That's something that needs to be, understood or observed or better explained. Maybe it's nothing, but I'm a true believer in it's never nothing. It's always something. All you need to do is just look. Some people feel like, the ostrich effect the digging your head in the ground and, hoping that it go away. Just don't think about it.
I could simply snap my fingers. They would all cease to exist, and I call that mercy.
Because at the same time, we are humans, right? But we find ourselves at the center of something that we don't understand. Is it a conflict? Is it in slavery? As we sit here, we wait for extinction, right? We wait for our turn. Because it can happen at any day.
It's an ambitious strategy.
But we still fight, right? We fight for just an inkling of the knowledge. Can you just tell me a little bit of the truth? Did we even land on the moon? And if we landed on the moon, what do we find? I mean, how come there's so many questions?
History tells us that between 1969 and 1972, American astronauts completed a total of 6 successful landings on the surface of the moon. The last of these missions, Apollo 17, concluded on the 19th of December 1972, when Eugene Cernan, Harrison Schmitt, and Ronald Evans were recovered from the Pacific Ocean by the crew of the USS Ticonderoga.
That had to be a fucked up journey, because you got to recover me from the ocean. I mean, wow. It's just the things that, humans, I guess, went through, right, in order to become space travelers. They enter the great void, the darkness. Because space is not the final frontier. It's the doorstep. It's the doorstep of the universe. It's the paved street. It's the highway to heaven. It's the highway to hell. It's the highway to go in all directions. But the first stop, the moon. What the fuck is it?
It has been nearly 50 years since the last human being set foot upon the lunar surface. Were budget constraints really the driving force behind this decision?
Yeah, I'm sure budget constraints, would stop the advancement of human evolution, especially when, money don't really exist. The value and the concept of money is, nonsensical. So for you to say that, it's budget and money that, prevent humans from moving forward in natural evolution. And natural evolution is that, you should be able to travel to the moon, then to Mars, and so forth, and onward. Onward! But we seem to be caught, stuck in this time loop, in this strange time and place, undefined.
But there's controversy about this, because scientists can't agree on how the moon was formed in the first place. The first theory of how the moon became linked to the Earth is the capture theory. It says the moon was just floating along, drifted near the Earth, and was pulled into orbit.
And it sounds like, just some, something that's described by someone who don't understand what they just saw. I saw a big wheel of the fire that was on fire in the sky, and it flew by, and it was great chariots of fire.
But there's controversy about this, because scientists can't agree on how the moon was formed in the first place. The first theory of how the moon became linked to the Earth is the capture theory. It says the moon was just floating along, drifted near the Earth, and was pulled into orbit.
It's so hard to believe that humans have advanced to this point using the science that we currently use or that we've ever used in the past. I mean, I don't understand how we've even advanced. I mean, I look at it and I ask tough questions like, what is the moon? And how was the moon created? And how come the moon doesn't look or behave like any other satellite going around any other heavenly body? Our moon is, acts more like a heavenly body.
Which proved difficult to maintain. The technology available at the time only allowed for a period of mere hours on the moon's surface on each occasion. And with no natural resources or significant scientific material forthcoming from the first few trips, NASA found it impossible to secure the funding needed to carry out what remained of their program.
What do you mean funding? I don't understand how, if something was either a national security threat or a space race with the Soviets or just in the grand calculus of human and space and planetary exploration. And you telling me that you put budget restrictions on on this endeavor. I mean, it's just kind of hard to believe. I mean, just because you pour syrup on shit don't make it pancakes.
Stories. There is, however, a common thread. The moon may already be home to existing residents, inhabitants who do not appreciate unwanted intrusions.
But what kind of inhabitants? I mean, if they would just explain like, hey, we did go to the moon. I'm sorry, I can't even get past the first part. We did go to the moon, but it was someone else there, and they just don't like it. They don't like us.
And whilst there are many aspects of this alleged testimony that are either impossible to verify or comfortably easy to debunk, there are elements of it which commentators claim add credence to similar tales surrounding NASA's official landings.
But NASA landings don't tell us anything. They're not telling us that, hey, we was run off the moon by something that was pretty big or dangerous, or it was technology that's beyond our comprehension, or the moon ain't what we thought it was, or what? What can you tell us that would justify, hey, not going back, not establishing a colony, not establishing the ability at least to land on something? I don't know. So we forced with these unmanned astronauts, or let me change that, the unhuman astronauts, as in the rovers, and we get them to, go around and I guess see shit. But to me, it's different. Because when they were saying that it was men on the moon, these motherfuckers was walking around. They was able to see shit. And I don't know. What did they see?
The anonymous source claimed that the astronauts of Apollo 17 had not traveled far from their landing site when they came across the shattered remains of another landing craft. In addition to the severely damaged vehicle itself were the bodies of a number of cosmonauts, all of which appeared to be Soviet in origin. But it was not the unexpected appearance of this debris field that most shocked the astronauts. More, that all of the wounds and damage inflicted upon the victims seemed to have been caused by a physical assault of some kind, rather than any form of decompression or collision impact. The hull of the Russian spacecraft had been repeatedly torn and punctured by an unknown source, with the glass faceplates on the helmets of the dead cosmonauts all smashed in an identical fashion. The American crew had immediately returned to their lander and requested permission to lift off again, only to be told that they had to remain on the ground for several more hours due to technical issues. During this time, they sent increasingly panicked radio transmissions, claiming they could see shadowy figures moving around on the hills outside, gradually making their way closer to the module. This psychologist detailed that there was a joint British and Russian mission to return to the crash site in 1989, and that he had been asked to assist with debriefing the crew of this expedition when it returned home. The Russian lander successfully arrived in the vicinity of Apollo 17's landing zone in December of 1990, only for the crew to be attacked by unknown entities. This attack was watched in disbelief by their controllers at the Okhotsk launch site, before all contact with them was lost.
And we are at a loss of words. Because why aren't these things being discussed on the Senate floor? Why are these things not being discussed in the UN? Europe, where are you? I mean, how come India, you don't just come out and say, hey, there's something going on? China, you could have, let us know more. But it always has to be a secret invasion, an invasion of something that's foreign to what we don't understand, right? foreign to our biology, foreign to our understanding. Technology foreign to our understanding. Is it possible that, a life form could exist out in the vacuum of space? Is it a creature, a monster? Is it a bunch of creatures, a bunch of monsters? Is it an evasion force? How come these things are not actually, public knowledge? I mean, Dark Skies News and Information, continues to be dragged under the mud. I mean, they hate us. And I understand why, because I'm asking tough questions and it's not cool. I mean, we don't want to think about this. I talk about earthquakes, everybody gets scared. I talk about aliens, everybody gets scared. An invasion, what if it already happened? The fuck is the moon? I mean, do I have to be the only person saying that it's all not adding up? I mean, if you're in a math class and you see 2 + 2 = 5 on the board and, that's right, then maybe the place that you're at is wrong, or your understanding of the place that you're at is wrong. Maybe those calculations are correct here, but incorrect where you're from. Well, that creates a lot of problems in your understanding, unless you're open-minded and you can adjust your understanding to what you're actually seeing at the moment that you're seeing it.
James Irwin were outside their lander, revealed that they stumbled across what appeared to be vehicle tracks at the base of Mount Hadley. They described these impressions as linear, running from east to west, and totally uniform in nature.
So you follow them, and you hope to find out what laid the tracks. Are you reporting these tracks to Houston, or I mean, what?
It is, however, the claims that the crew of the iconic Apollo 11 mission reported multiple sightings of unidentified spacecraft and structures on the moon that have most captured the imagination of conspiracy theorists.
It's not a conspiracy if you're just, going off of what you heard an astronaut say. Maybe he made it up. But why would he do that? I mean, you get so many statements from people who actually been in space. And some say, oh, I ain't never seen nothing. But in a way that make you think that they actually seen something. Are you fucking with my mind? Or did you not actually see anything? It's nothing up there to see. That's why you're not going back.
Some of which are several miles high. There are also those who assert that the moon may not even be a natural satellite at all, at least not in the most conventional sense. Some commentators believe that the surface of the moon is merely an external shell for something far more sinister, such as a space station or gigantic alien spacecraft. The claim is similar to that of the Hollow Earth theory, whose supporters believe that there is a vast network of tunnels and caverns under the Earth's surface, which humanity is unaware of.
But just humanity, right? Everybody else is aware of it. You know why? Because humanity is stupid. And it just makes me so upset that we're considered like an advanced species or intelligent species because, we can have an hollow moon above our head that's obviously bigger than any other satellite in the observable universe, but we don't recognize that. I mean, just like we're too stupid to understand that there are caverns up under the Earth's surface that, that we may not understand. Because we don't understand anything. We're dumb. Just like we don't understand the oceans and how UAPs are actually underwater UFOs, as well as in the air UFOs, as well as outer space UFOs, which means they can kick the shit out of us if they want. But why haven't they? I mean, in an actual invasion, they would have came down and they would have wiped us out. I guess in a secret invasion, but they infiltrate us. Oh man, for Mikey Nice, Jim, Jennifer, Jeff, Becky, on the ones and twos. And of course, I'm your host, Elsie Graves. We are going to continue to dig deep because if there's a war being fought, well, how come we're not being told? Well, maybe it's being fought over us. Maybe we're the prize. Or the food. Or the fuel. Oh my God. Let me stop thinking. At least for a few minutes. Oh my God. It's just so much to wrap your head around. It's amazing. It's so, so amazing. So, until we meet again, keep your eyes to the sky. Ear to the ground. Dark Skies. News and information will always be around. We're the best podcast in the entire multiverse, and it's for a reason. Live from Los Angeles, California, on iHeartRadio, Castbox, Spotify, and Spreaker.com. And I love you all. I'm out.